Welcome back. Today's video about my reaction to the 60 Minutes interview. Being I guess, problem gambler myself, dealing with the recovery and navigating the available resources for help in this situation. I think I have a few things to say about it. First of all, just being a gambler in general, and in my life, I spent a good amount of time in my life planning to go to the casino. Um, so there's that. I feel like all of this, um, all these casinos popping up everywhere. I guess if you're gambling, it's great, right? Easy access to go to the casino. But I feel like there has been easy access to gamble for the most part, as long as I can remember. Drive a couple hours. I've not always lived in Vegas, but I could always hop in the car and drive to Vegas for most of my gambling career. However, I don't think casinos are a great thing in general. I've never really felt that. And certainly not getting better. I can remember pretty, recent times where you could walk into a casino, lose a few bucks, get a free meal, maybe a free room, all of that. I feel like you know, it really felt like at least you would get something for your money. And that certainly has gone away for the most part. They're still giving room comps and stuff, but you play a little blackjack, get a nice meal, and maybe a movie. If you live in Vegas, many times there's theaters and some of the casinos, and get some free movie tickets and get some extra perks for your play. 10-cent breakfasts. Things like that were I feel like perks. Now that we've kind of gone into paid parking, um, uh, resort fees, and all these things, the gambler is really getting less for their money and being squeezed because pay tables are bad. So I feel like the all this expansion has really not, I guess, benefited the gambler, right? And then you kind of got to ask yourself, what percentage of people out there gambling, have a problem? I remember when I first started quitting. It didn't start as quitting. I really wanted to just cut back. I didn't. I like to take risks, so I figured, well, we could just scale this back, right? We can just, gamble on Wednesdays or something. But it seemed like no matter how much I kind of pulled back from it, I guess, the losses still hurt the same. Even small losses hurt somewhere at some point. So that kind of really was the beginning of quitting, of just feeling like there was no, what they like to call responsible gambling. And the more I quit and the more I read, and all of this responsible gambling, as they like to call it, wasn't there. I mean, frankly, it was all fluff. I mean, for example, I mean, of course, there's states that do this better. Credit to them. But Nevada, which is, Las Vegas, obviously, they make it the hardest for you to self exclude yourself from casinos, which, you know, I feel like is, if you have a gambling problem, it is best to start by um, removing the problem. I mean, frankly, I don't think there's any treatment out there that you're going to benefit more than from starting to self-exclude from these casinos. I thought to myself, there would be a hotline or something I can call, or I'm surprised, problemgambling.com or whatever, or problem 1-800 problem gambler or whatever, wouldn't have a service available where you could just blackball yourself across the board. And even from reading about it, how even if you self-exclude, that it doesn't really stop you from going into the casino. If they catch you, they can arrest you for trespass or whatever, but still doesn't do the trick. I guess is is the main thing. So, I mean, back to the question that how many people out there, have a gambling problem? I feel like is it would be the most powerful information to know, because I mean, many of my friends, being invested in the gambling community for as long as I have, gamble, and I don't think there's been maybe one or two that really didn't care, that was quitting. I mean, I guess is, but most, were interested in the idea of quitting. And high stakes standing, I talk about that. Again, I feel like there is you have to be willing to, open to quitting. I mean, is the bottom line. You have to want to quit. I mean, there's no way around that. In most of my gambling career, I felt like I maybe should quit. I quit a million times. Maybe only halfway serious about that, right? And after a few days, maybe a week, but not much longer than that, until I raised a few dollars and was able to lick my wounds and recover from the beating I took. I would be pick myself up and walk back right into a casino. So, this study and, these articles that come out, only half-heartedly really addressing the problem. I mean, casinos certainly don't want to fix the problem. I mean, if anything, all the casinos in Las Vegas have tried to make it as difficult for you as possible to quit, because of course it's the problem gambler that keeps these places open. That when I see these stories come out and I come across them, they almost make me mad. But, in the long run, and from my experience, I mean, it is a personal responsibility type situation. I mean, I wanted to quit. It took time. It took time. And certainly a good amount of desire to quit. And that probably is the biggest factor. I do think these stories are, nothing balls for the most part. Looking back, of course, 2 years now. 2 years that I've only really, I guess, started to take and begin the recovery process. I mean, it's not been fast. However, I got 28 years on the other side. 28 years of gambling, and 2 years without. So these things are going to take time. Danny now with 1 year, and so we'll see. I mean, it's the data behind gamblers, problem gambling and stuff is poor. Is poor. Even I had a chance to talk to expert, top in her field about it, have a conversation with her. I shared some videos with her and was able to talk to her. We talked about some of the data that they have. And of course, none of these people have had gambling problems. So, I mean, that's a weird one, right? Because you talk to somebody, I mean, it's like somebody trying to help an alcoholic that has never drank. And it's interesting because I could talk on that because I have several friends that are trying to stop drinking, and I've never been drunk. And I think to myself, hey, stop drinking. And and I can kind of see that from many of my friends that just, have never gambled. They're like, hey, stop gambling. I mean, it certainly seems, simple now. But the one comforting piece of data from all of their studies really say that all gamblers, for the most part, have a point in which they move on. Of course, some of them they move on in the most, they die, right? But the ones that, of course, find their way out of it. People email me, 10 years still going to meetings, Gamblers Anonymous meetings. Still, it's a fresh battle going on in their mind. And that's scary. I don't know how many days that has been up to this point. I've kind of moved on from that. It's more at this point kind of like it's more in the background, not in the counting days stage. I guess I would be more in the counting years stage. I feel less desire to return. So I mean, there's that. But with some people, the battle was still going on, years past, and feel like any minute. Many have told me that they feel like they could gamble at any minute. So anyway, thank you all very much for watching. More videos coming very soon. If you've come this far in the video, we have Visa Run coming, and lots of new places and new stories to tell. And I'll catch you on the next video.